welcome to Ask Win, everyone. And this afternoon, I'm humbled and honored to actually have one of my colleagues with me, who I actually work with on a weekly basis. His name is Brandon, and he went, believe it or not, went into education because of the money. And I was shocked. He told me that in person, and I'm like, you did what? You went into music education because of the money? So without further ado, I'm going to let Brandon take it away and pardon the cold that he has on his end. Because we work with kids, they gave him a nice Christmas gift, and they gave me a nice Christmas gift, which I just got over. Thank you very much. Because we work with kids, yeah, it's always been an interesting show on that. But without further ado, I'm going to let Brandon take it away.
My cough precedes me. I'm coughing already.
Oh.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so delighted to work with you in person and then also to be on this and speak with you. We always have such good chats.
Oh, well, thank you. And so, okay, as I said at the top of this interview, you went into education for the money because you were an actor in Hollywood or in New York. I can't remember. I think you told me New York. But
yeah, it was New York, yeah.
Yeah, it was New York. You said you grew up in Hollywood, but then moved to Idaho, correct?
South Dakota.
South Dakota. That's it.
Yeah.
I got. So you basically said, I want a change. I want a stable paycheck. So
yeah, that's basically.
Give up the acting career.
Well, I looked at it from a lot of angles, and I do have to start out with, I have both parents who are in the industry of performing. My dad has won an Emmy for Saved by the Bell, and his name is Ron Joseph, and he's still acting today. And then my mother is an opera singer and an actress, and they both have been in the business for so long. We were kind of just raised to be performers and actors and all these things, my twin sibling and my sister. But I got to a point in which, I wasn't, as they say, when like paying the electric bill, keeping the lights on, keeping myself up and health insurance. And I tried to figure out, how can I do both? How am I able to still perform, still be in the world of performing arts, but also provide a living for myself? I want to have children someday. I want to own a home. I've always believed that you can do it all. You still can do it all. And so then I set out on this path to become a teacher. Funny enough is that when I was in college, I wanted to become a teacher first. And I remember having a phone call conversation with my mother in which, we all ended up crying at the end, and she telling me that you're going to be a performer just like everyone else in this family.
Yeah.
Which no one ever says to their children. Yeah. And so then I became a teacher, and I always tell people that I got into teaching for the money.
Which, when you told me that, we were sitting on the settee in my office. I almost fell off the settee, you guys. I took a picture of the settee when I'm next up there so you can see the scene, because I'm like, oh my God, when you told Kim and I that, it's like, what?
Kim is also a colleague that we work with. She's amazing. I remember your reaction, though. You looked at me and you're like, that just can't be true.
No, that just can't be true. Here I am trying to walk away from the education field, but you want to stay in for the money because the aspects of keeping the lights on. And so
right, yeah.
I know know from personal experience that you are great at what you do. I also know from personal experience that on Broadway is a little bit tough because I have friends in the industry and they say until you make it big, you're not going to make it at all.
Right.
So I don't know where we should start. I mean, people are trying to get into the acting industry all the time, but naturally you have this gift, but yet you're smart enough to keep the lights on.
Yeah, as we say, right? I mean, the thing is, I wanted to make sure that I could do both, and I still do performing. I just got cast in the top 10 playwrights festival they do here in Aspen, and I just got cast in something like that. But then I think, I would have never gotten that unless I was a teacher at Aspen Country Day, But you have to battle with all these things. Am I giving up the career? I've been practicing to be a performer since I was 5 years old. Am I giving it up to become a teacher? And, I still battle with things like that. I still look at actors of my own age, and I still battle, with trying to figure out what I'm really supposed to be doing in this life. But then, you work with children, and I know you share this with me, and the power it is to change children's minds and have them learn from you is, that's a performance all in itself. And I see you do that beautifully.
Yes. Yes, working with children is a performance all in itself. I get preschool teaching for third grade music, and never so happy am I that Brandon gets the more beautiful office than I do, but he comes over to visit me. So that's the side point. His office actually looks over the beautiful pond we have at work. Yes, I get to walk in Mother Nature every single day or once a week. I'm sorry, I get to walk in Mother Nature every single week due to the way my campus is set up. And so I think when it comes to acting, I think you should, people say just go for your dreams, but at the same time, acting is going to be one of those things where you can't make it. So you have to literally look at, okay, do I keep the lights on or do I not keep the lights on and not pay my electrical bill?
It comes down to that, right? You have to compromise.
Yeah.
I'm still creating, I just directed Hamlet with third grade, and I directed my first grade Tempest. And I created a show for the holiday sing centered around peace and light. And I'm still kind of, although I'm not sure if it represented peace and light because it was wonderfully chaotic. We'll say that.
Yes, we'll say that.
But you have to kind of, at least I'm still in the field of performing, and still doing what I've been trained to do. I'm not delivering pizzas. Not that there's anything wrong with delivering pizzas, but it's not using your musical and acting accolades and things.
No, and I can't even hold a tune, you guys. So what Brandon can do as compared to what Kim and I could do. Kim is another calling. I'll invite her on this podcast eventually. And then it's amazing what you can do with the type of life.
When all three of us get together, the amazingness that comes from that.
Yeah. It's amazing what kids can learn, what I haven't learned over this past year. I mean, I didn't know that I was going to be in charge of half of the music department, you guys. Here I am as a little old maid coming up from preschool teaching. I didn't know what I was getting into. Nope, they give me half of the responsibility. I'm like, okay, you guys. okay, let's do this. But it's amazing what you can teach kids, and it's amazing what they will do, and sometimes what they won't do. And I am lucky because I'm only in that classroom 1 day a week, but Brandon is in that classroom 5 days a week. And how many classes do you have? You have a ton. Jeez.
I know. I teach first and third grade theater and drama, and then I teach music to fourth and fifth grade. Right now, I'm also teaching a stage combat and choreography class to 10 seventh graders, and then I teach an advanced acting class to 15 eighth graders. I think that's all of it.
Oh, that's all of it. And then no wonder why you get confused at the end of the day. I would get confused. No, sometimes to tell you the honest truth, when we were practicing for the holiday singing, you guys, I was so confused that it might have come out in this podcast. I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I mean, we had a million stuff going on, plus we had the parents' performance. We had to perform in front of the parents / the whole school, pre-K through 8th grade, and Brandon did a wonderful job. And
you did too.
The pictures you guys saw, if you follow me on Instagram, I posted one, because that's only what I had time for. And then, if you follow Country Day on Instagram, they, posted more than I did, but it was interesting how we seemed to pull it all together.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really interesting. Many hands make light work, and like I say, when you and Kim and I all get together and we start plotting and planning and how all the pieces come together, it's the brilliance of live theater and also the brilliance of student theater, children's theater, and how we all come together. I was, as my first production at Aspen Country Day School, I was really happy with all of it. I know it's not how they've done it in the past, and I've heard such great things from people. But I feel like sometimes that I get a lot of the praise, but I always like to turn it back to you and Kim and how much work that we all do together.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You just directed the chaos and made it beautiful. Jeez, you made it beautiful, and we won't get into the little sound disaster that happened on this podcast.
I do have to say, I thought this year I wouldn't have to do that kind of run around and make sure everything was okay, and I guess I still have to do that kind of stuff. But we should leave it there.
Yes. Well, we're going to
I remember looking at your face.
We're going to leave it there. We're going to leave it there because it's, it was, we have to manage adults at this time, and sometimes adults act like children, and we're going to leave it there because you never know what's going to happen on a good day. Whether a kid is going to be so stage frightish that they don't want to do it, or the adult hits the wrong key, or so what? Yeah. Yeah, and Brandon's laughing at me because we sat through this and I'm like, oh my God. So, we kind of have to put our educational hats on dealing with kids and adults, basically. And so, when you were acting, what was your favorite performance?
Well, I've been Donkey in the Shrek the Musical at the Pace Center down in Denver. One of my favorite roles that I just did was I was part of a choir in this show called The Christians. And it was really interesting because it's a really small cast, and the choir is really important. They're part of this part of this church, and that was my first kind of like real big professional thing in Denver at the Denver Center for the Performing Arts. And things like that. Like, my favorite role probably has been Donkey, playing Donkey in the musical. I just related to kind of that ass.
Oh, of course. Of course.
People are like, oh, well, that role fits you
Donkey,
perfectly. And I'm like, what's
yes,
that supposed to mean?
yes. That's the donkey.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
I could only imagine you. No, if you saw Brandon's personality, donkey would fit him perfectly. I can only imagine why they cast you for this role. And so, what have you got coming up as far as your personal acting, and what have we got coming up as far as the all-school play? I mean, have you
Right.
got any ideas to that?
You know, so what's coming up in my personal life is that I was just cast in a role in a playwright festival here in Aspen. It's called Top 10, and one of the coolest parts about it is that we get all these directors from Los Angeles and from New York, and we get to work with really highly professional people, which that always feels so good. And after that, we have the all-school play coming up, which is, that's our Country Day School's greatest affair. And,
Yes, it
one of
is.
the
Yes, it is.
prestigious things that we do. I have to lend my hat over to Marcianne Sketch and Paula Ponto, my colleagues in the theater department and art department. They start working on this. Like, I think they started September 1st. And people who know them say they start the day after the last big play goes up. They take a break and then they go on.
Then go on. Yes.
I think I can disclose the theme this year. They always choose a theme that's invented by the students. And this year's theme was invented by Max Schwartz, and he has designed a time travel theme. So you'll see all of Aspen Country Day School going through the decades of glory,
Yep. Yep. And that's all we can tell you guys right now. I can't even tell you guys what to see on my Instagram feed, because
how hush hush it is.
I will be more involved than I was last year, so I don't know what. That's in April, you guys. So if you don't hear from me, that's why. That's why, because
She's really busy.
they unfortunately gave me half the music department responsibility. So if you don't hear from me, that's why, because I can't do my creative work my own creative work once it comes to April. I need to be focused on these kids, and just like in December, I need to be focused on these kids. I mean, one second I turn around, these kids are doing perfectly fine. Next second, you're in there, Brandon, giving us choreography cues, and it's like, okay, what am I doing? I thought I learned along with the kids. Well, I learned along with the kids in December, and that's going to be the same in April, you guys. So, what I wanted to ask you, I know you have a very interesting upbringing in more ways than one. I know you're considered gay, which
Right.
I'm perfectly fine about talking about on this podcast, but how has that influenced the way you think and the way you act around these kids? I mean, you're doing a great job, nothing there, but I would think, for me, it's like fitting a round peg into a square hole. It's like fitting a round peg into a square hole. Now, granted, Country Day is a private school and it's very accepting of diversity, but still, it, it's still setting you up for the outlast. Well, I shouldn't call it outlast, but it's still setting you up for the diversity factor in the biggest time, because it's like, am I going to get accepted for these roles, or will the kids understand that I'm different? I mean, I face that all the time with these kids.
Yeah. Can they handle our differences? And I think the answer is a resounding yes. You know, before I came to Aspen Country Day School, I was actually, up for a couple other country day schools, in our country and in Denver. And when I would go into interview, and it was just a time, it seemed like, in my life where all these, opportunities were coming to me. And when I came to each country day school or each private school that was interviewing me, I asked them, my first question was, is your school ready for an openly gay teacher? Because you like you say, it isn't, I mean, I definitely don't look at it like fitting a circle in a square, but can you adjust? Are you ready for more diversity? Is your school ready for someone like me? Because you not only bring, all your positive things with you, but you bring maybe things that people may look as negative.
Yeah.
The way I've gotten over that, because you can't change people's minds, you just have to keep it, is that, my sexuality is a very small part of who I am professionally. And, I have a lot more to offer as a whole and, precious human being, than just my sexuality. And what I've noticed mostly, I'm like you, where I worry about that. I worry about what kids might say, and all that kind of stuff. And from what I've experienced, kids are just absolutely wonderful human beings on this earth. They don't really,
yes, they are.
they don't dive into all of
they are.
yeah, where they don't dive in to try to figure all that out. They want to know who you are as a whole. And there's just a beauty to that. And maybe why it's always been the right decision that I went into education. Because even in the world of acting and things like
the acting plane.
Yeah, your sexuality can still, change the direction of how people look at you and what roles you're up for. And I found it much easier, in teaching, my clientele, which is our students. They're much more accepting. It's much easier. Yeah. How have you found? How have you found growing up with cerebral palsy and how has that been when you were growing up?
Well, one, I was lucky enough I could practically do the country day philosophy in my sleep. So I was lucky enough to be a student at country day. And every time I tell the kids that, they turn white as a ghost. I'm not kidding when I say that. And they look at me like, you were one of us? We don't understand that. We don't understand you were one of us. And then I had to say, yes, I was. I skated on ponds. I did all that. So I was never involved in the special ed system. I was never involved in the special ed system until I got into high school, quite frankly, because I was always so sheltered at country day. I mean, I grew up with able-bodied classmates. That's why I think as an able-bodied person, I may have a disability, but I consider that disability as a side note. I don't necessarily consider that disability as my daily life. I mean, it is in a sense, but it really helped me figure out who I was, accept my disability. I accepted my disability at age sick, believe it or not. And so I really got to see the kindness of humans, and I still, to this day, get to see the kindness of humans.
So that's beautiful. I mean, like, Aspen Country Day, that was one of the reasons why I chose it. You know, they made their offer along with other schools, but I think that they just remain true to, you know, your experiences growing up and even present day experiences with someone like me coming in to teach. They really do have a diversity factor that's extremely important to its success.
Yeah, they do. They do. And
Even
though the school is now bigger since I
Yeah.
went there, like, it's getting bigger. It's not getting smaller. We're still trying to keep the diversity factor in there, you guys. We're still trying, but the paycheck isn't getting any bigger. Although,
No, I shouldn't speak on that.
Yes. Brandon went in for the money. So maybe I should quit bucking and squawking about how I would leave education after I get my journalism degree, because Brandon went in for the money. He was a struggling artist, and I don't want to be a struggling journalist. There's no way. You guys know that by now. And so maybe I should quit bucking and squawking about, how I'll leave education and just deal with the paycheck.
Yeah. I have a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
They're just kind of funny questions, because I always like to ask funny questions. I want to know what your favorite color is and why.
Well, I have two answers to that one, and when you shot me that one, I'm like, okay. One of them is green, the other one is purple. The reason why I say green is because green is not only National Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month color,
I didn't know that.
it's also Country Day's school color, too. So I'm like, okay, so there's one for you. It's green, and then my childhood favorite color has always been purple. I don't know why. I don't know why, but it's always been purple. So when people ask me that, it's either green or purple. Basically because, and I didn't discover the cerebral palsy point until I was in my 20s. I didn't discover that until I was in my 20s. I always knew it as a Country Day color, school color. So and I think I was on green team or maybe the blue team. I can't remember which I'm still on as a staff member. And so I always knew green as, okay, this is the color of my school. I didn't realize the color green, not only is it calming, but I didn't realize it was the color of my disability, of myself, in a sense.
I love that. That's so cool. I never knew that either. See, those are my two favorite colors too, and just kind of in the exact way that you described it. I love green, and that's kind of my adult favorite color. But then purple, when I was a child, I don't know why, but that was my favorite color as a child too. I'm happy to share that with you.
I don't know why.
Because we're royal, darling. We're royal beings, you and I.
Yeah, basically that's it. Because I don't know why I can't figure that one out to this day. But I can figure out why green has a significant part of my life. I just didn't know the second level of green until I was in my 20s.
Okay, I have one more question for you. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Oh, if I could have a superpower, if I could quit using Siri to dictate all my stuff, that would, if I could be a better typist and have more power in my legs so I could chase kids, that would helped me out a lot because in education, you have to use the power of typing and the power of the computer, like this Know Them All, and without speech dictation, I'm useless. So I'm like, superpower has to be typing and more physical power in my legs because I'm useless when it comes to chasing kids. I mean, sitting on a settee is fine, you guys, but getting up and chasing preschool, that's why I gave it up. That's why I gave it up and transferred to the older kids.
I just love that that's your superpowers that we would want. You know, that in retrospect, for many of us, we should look at those as superpowers, that we're able to get up on our feet and dance and move and run after a child.
Exactly.
You know, you hear people like, oh, I'm so angsty. And it's just like, no, that's a superpower for some.
No, yeah, that's a superpower. That's a definite superpower to me, and so if I could type and have more power in my legs, I would be the happiest camp on the planet. But fortunately for me, cerebral palsy does not get worse. It's a child, and I apologize for the thought of myself. Geez, now I really feel like a teacher. Geez, now I really feel like I was. The kids gave me something too. I know they did. So, for me, that cerebral palsy, my cerebral palsy does not get worse. So I'm regaining the power in my legs. It's just taking a little bit longer than I thought. So, if I had a magic wand, I would pick power over typing because with assistive technology, you can do anything now. With these iPhones, you can do anything. Yeah.
No, that's really, really good. I mean, yeah.
Yes. That's, if I could easily chase kids more, if I could easily chase kids more, that would make me the happiest person on the planet. But we're working on that. We're working on getting off a walker, and yeah, we have lots going on for 2018, and then I still have my day job, which I'm very lucky to have. So I should quit balking and talking about the paycheck. Maybe I'll slowly walk away from the education field, but at the same time, as Brandon said, we're in a field that is stable enough that it can keep lights on, even though it doesn't make a great paycheck, but at the same time, where Brandon came from, he had to make the decision. And I made the decision to go back to journalism school, which I'm still planning to use on the side of my education degree because, quite frankly, I need to decide, do I want to be the struggling artist? No, I don't think so. But do I want to still be teaching about cerebral palsy? Yes.
Yeah, and I believe, you'll be a lifelong teacher your whole life, and you can find me performing in my classroom. Shakespeare,
yes.
all the world's a stage, and we're but mere actors. And, we're always acting, we're always performing. But you gotta make that money, honey.
Well, somehow. So, basically, people, and I don't know if Take 10 is going to be filmed. People could always email you. I know you gave your email address, but people could always come because I know that the Shakespeare stuff with the kids is open to the public. I mean, it's in my office to crying out loud. It might be in my old office, but it is open to the public. If you know a faculty member that you guys, you can get in to most country days to see the performances the kids are doing, and people can email you, and people just don't take Brandon away from me quite yet. Just don't take Brandon away from me quite yet. Just don't take Brandon away from music department. He's mine. I don't know how long he's mine, but people can always email him and ask him questions. I mean, it's very open to talking about it, but
Yeah. I'm all for other people's success. If you need any help, you can always email me at brandonjoseph@aspencountryday.net. And can I plug my Instagram?
Yes, go ahead.
So my Instagram is @Newt, Niwt. It's twin spelled backwards because I'm an identical twin. And then also I have one for my life here in Aspen because my husband and I live in Aspen, and that's called Closer to the Stars. And that's kind of like how we document fashion and famous people here and beautiful homes. And you can see beautiful pictures of around Aspen.
And where, if you don't mind me asking, where does your husband work?
Oh, my husband also works here at Aspen Country Day. He teaches Spanish and fourth grade math.
Okay, I get it now. I met your husband. I just realized who he was.
Yeah.
So I act like I'm so engrossed in the music department. No, he sat, let me show you guys. He sat next to me, during the music holiday thing rehearsal. And
He did.
This guy is very nice. And so I didn't realize he was part of the U. I was like, oops, oopsies.
Yeah.
There we go. I just found that one out. I was like, now I can very embarrassed.
No, you were on your best behavior. He didn't say anything, so don't worry. He wouldn't.
People would see me blushing because I'm like, oops, I have to, when I get out there next week, go find him on Subway and introduce myself because, yep, because I'm like, I am, now that I've figured out who he is, I kind of now have to go introduce myself because I'm like, okay, Wynn's not up there long enough to meet all the new faculty. That's the problem. I walk in, I do my job, I walk out. So
that's what happened.
The new problem. Yeah, that's the new problem with me is that I'm not up there to meet all the new faculty. Oops. But that's okay.
Well, he knows who you are. We listen to your podcast, and we enjoy who you are.
I know he does. So, well, I appreciate your time. I know it's been a long day. If you are in the education system, any teacher out there listening, the day of the January 2nd goes for a long day.
It does.
Not wanting to pay attention. Maybe I did. I don't know, but it's like they're still on Christmas, on Hanukkah and Kwanzaa break.
Yeah.
So by the time I get back up, it will be, they'll be okay. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
But for those of you in education, you definitely understand the getting back to school aspect.
It's a long day, like you said, but it was really nice to end it like that.
It's a long day.
Wow.
It's a long day, and I definitely appreciate your story, and I definitely appreciate you guys listening, and hopefully you gain some wisdom from the other side of my life that I don't really get to share on this podcast. I wish I got to do it more then, but we'll be working on that. And so I really appreciate everyone's time today, and I hope you guys have a terrific 2018, and God knows Brandon and I will have a terrific 2019, and thank you guys so much for listening to Ask Win, formerly Butterflies of Wisdom. It's slowly getting changed over, but if I can have the creative energy like Brandon does, I would be happy as a clam, but right now I don't. So I appreciate you guys, and so I definitely appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this fabulous interview. Thanks to you guys. Bye.
Bye.